Hey, good morning. I hope you are having an awesome day so far. I know it just started at 7 a.m. Eastern, but why not get your day started in a great way and make the most of it? So, my name is Carrie Postal. I am the owner and founder of Abacus Business Solutions, helping business owners to know, understand, and trust their numbers, something that is a critical aspect to the success of any business. So we have 2 weeks left of the year. Can you believe it? This 2023 just flew by for me. So I don't know about you, but there's just lots of really great things that you can do when you get to the end of the year. Sometimes tend to slow down a little bit. You have that time to stop and to think and reflect back on the year. And if this is something that you haven't done before, then I really encourage you to do it this year because it can be really helpful. It can be very powerful. And it can really propel you into 2024. So take some time, if you can just carve out a couple of hours and just sit down, with a pen and paper or, with your iPad, whatever, and just take some notes. Look back and think about, okay, how was my 2023? Was it everything that I wanted it to be? What is everything that I needed it to be? Did I reach all those goals? So take some time and just kind of like just brainstorm, just do a brain dump and look back, think back to January. How did your year start? Did it start off really well and then get harder throughout the year? Or did you have a slow start and then pick up momentum and then finish strong? And everybody has different stories depending on the kind of business you're in as to whether it is a seasonal business. There's lots of different stories that everybody has. So don't compare your journey to somebody else's. You might be at the beginning of your journey where somebody else might be, in the middle of theirs, and you can't compare those two. So focus on you, focus on how was your year. So what were your achievements? Let's start with that. What were your wins? What were those things that went really, really well for you? Maybe something went better than you thought it was going to be. And so that ended up being a nice surprise because you were hoping for the best and then it ended up going amazingly well and it was a huge win. So take time to think about what were those wins, whether they're large or small. It's really important to recognize what those wins are and then take that momentum into next year with you as well. So go back, look through the different months, look to see, look through your team. If you have a team, what kind of wins did they achieve? What wins did you have as a business? Maybe look at your revenue, maybe look at your profit. What areas, did something go really, really well? And I want you to write them all down. And if you can, get 10, get 15, get 20, get as many as you possibly can, and really reflect on those and celebrate those wins as well. Once you've done that, then I want you to look at what didn't go so well. What could have gone better? And I want you to stop and think about that, whether it's a team aspect, whether it's a client aspect, customer aspect, whether it's a numbers aspect. Maybe you didn't hit your revenue and profit goals that you hoped that you would. Maybe your team didn't end up doing as well as you thought that they would do. Maybe your customer feedback wasn't kind of where you thought it would be. And really reflect on those different areas and write those down as well. And take the time. Don't skip over this bit. I know it's really easy to be like, nah, I don't want to focus on the negative. But you have to look back to see what didn't go so well so that you can improve it then going into 2024. So think about what could you have done better with those situations. Once you've got them all down, go through each one and look at those and decide, okay, how could we have handled this better? How could I, the business owner, handle this better? How can we do this better as a team next year? What changes do we need to make? What improvements do we need to make? What do we need to stop doing? And then what do we need to start doing as well? So those are also two other good questions, and add also the keep doing. So that's another thing. Once you've done all your wins and your achievements, you've looked at what didn't quite go so well, what could you have done better? Then start thinking about, okay, what do you need to stop doing going into 2024? Maybe you're a procrastinator. And we'll all have those times when we procrastinate about something. Normally it's something we don't want to have to do. But think back and like, okay, what do you need to stop doing? What do you need to keep doing? So what's working well? What do you need to keep doing and take into 2024 with you? And what do you need to start doing? What do you need to do different as you go into 2024 to have a huge impact on your year? So I want you to think about that as well. What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to keep doing? And what do you need to start doing as well? So looking now at 2024, 23 is done. 2 weeks of the year left, then it will be behind us. We've looked at those achievements, we've looked at those struggles, we're learning from them, we're taking that with us. So what changes do you need to make now going into next year? What do you need to start doing? And don't think, okay, I'll start that in February, I'll start that in March. January is always crazy busy. I want to encourage you to really start right now. Don't procrastinate on starting something that could have a huge impact on your business. Maybe there was something in 2023 that you've been putting off. Maybe, a new way of doing things, maybe a new service that you wanted to provide, a new product that you wanted to start selling. Think about what did you put off in 2023, whether it was, a financial reason or a confidence reason, whatever it might be. What did you not do in 2023 that you wanted to? And make that happen in 2024. Maybe you need to make some tweaks to that to make it more successful. And maybe you've been thinking about that and learning about that and figuring out what does that look like. Well, then let's make it happen in 2024. Let's do something about it. Let's stop procrastinating and start actually doing what you've been putting off in the last year. And then I want you to write down your goals if you haven't done so already for 2024. And I want you to use that, it's the SMART goal system where you're making sure that the goal you're setting is smart, specific goal. It's measurable. It's got to be measurable, or else it's going to be really hard to know whether you've achieved it or not. Is it achievable? So if you're doing $5 million a year at the moment, don't set a goal to do 30 million next year unless you've got some crazy system going into place. But let's be honest, you're not going to be able to scale that fast and do it really well. So make sure it's achievable. Make sure it's relevant. So make sure it's something that makes sense for your business, and really make sure that it's one of the, a goal that is in line with what you are doing. Don't try and copy what somebody else is doing. Make sure everything is in alignment with who you are as a person, who you are as a business, and the direction you're taking your business. And then fifthly, time bound. So don't just have this open-ended goal. Have a time specific on that. So maybe you have a revenue goal for the year. So you be specific. Don't just be, I want to do between 5 and 10 million. I want to do between 1 and 3 million. Get specific on that and then break it down into the quarters. So it's measurable because we can see what the numbers are. So this is where you need to make sure you've got your books up to date so that you can see exactly what's going on in your business. Make sure it's achievable. So like I said, don't go crazy. So if you're doing a revenue of 1 million now, maybe you want to aim for 1.2 next year, 1.3. You know what that number needs to be based on where you are, your marketing, your sales, and your growth and your team as to what is doable for next year. Make sure it's relevant. So make sure that, again, it's in line with what you're trying to do. Don't try and, just be a plumbing company and like, okay, we're going to add electrical, but not have any plan to do that. Make sure it's relevant with what you're doing. And time bound. So I want to be doing 1.3 million next year, and I want to do this much in this quarter, this much in this quarter, this much in this quarter, and this much in the fourth quarter. Then you can keep that going throughout, that you can measure it every quarter. And that really builds momentum, it builds excitement, and it builds, a really great way for your team to be excited as you get towards the end of that quarter. Hey guys, we've got 50,000 to go. Come on, we can do this. Let's close out the last 2 weeks strong. That's the kind of goals that you want to have in place, and get your team involved. Don't just be writing them down and keeping them to yourself. You're more likely to achieve a goal when you write it down and you share it with other people as well. And if your team know that you've got these amazing goals, they're going to get excited as well, because they're going to want to be on that journey with you, because they know it's going to benefit them in the long term as well. So go through your 2023, write down your wins and your achievements. Look at what didn't go well. What could you have done better? What changes do you need to make going into next year? What have you been putting off last year that you need to, or this year in 23, that you need to make sure that you're doing next year? Write down your goals and make sure they're SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So I really want to encourage you, and I would love for you guys to share some notes in the comments. Just put down what you've done, the comments you've made, the decisions that you've made, and if you've done this exercise and how it helped you in your business. Maybe this is something that you do every year anyway. And if it is, then share that as well in the comments. Encourage other people as well to really, get this exercise done and how it really helped you as well as a business leader. So we may or may not do a live next week. I'm going to see how the week goes. If I decide not to do a live, I'll try and get something recorded for you all. And then we'll be back in the new year. And we're actually going to turn this training into a podcast. So not only will you be able to find us on our social media channels, we will also be on the podcast apps as well. So we're super excited to be able to do that. So that way then you can listen to us when you're driving from one job to job, and listen to us that way as well. So all is left for me to do is to wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, happy holidays. Enjoy time with your family and friends. Take the time to slow down and spend that quality time, because life is way too short. And thanks for all your support this year, and we're looking forward to seeing you all next year.